Hello crafters, I'm Flavia and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm super excited to show you the adorable note cards I created using the Spellbinders April 2026 subscription clubs. As I show you each note card, I will also be giving you a closer look at the amazing sets that I used to make each note card. And I hope this video inspires you to get creative. Before we begin, I just want to let you know that you can find in the description box below links to this month's subscription clubs. I've also included another link that takes you to the page where Spellbinders lists all their previous clubs releases that are available as regular products. Just keep in mind that not every past club turns into a regular item, so the only way to guarantee you will not miss on any of these amazing sets is by becoming a club subscriber, which by the way, you can cancel anytime you want. So right here I have all of the clubs that I used to make the note cards that I'm about to show you, which are right over here. And just as usual, Spellbinders never disappoints, and I ended up making lots of note cards, and I had to force myself to stop creating with these supplies because I was running out of time and I needed to stop to record this video. But I actually cannot wait to make more note cards with this collection because it is amazing. By the way, the theme of this month's subscription clubs is perfect for spring, as we can see with this first note card. So here we have an A2 size top folding note card. Inside it is blank, and at the front we have this nice scene that I created with die cut growing vegetables and a stenciled sunny background and a sentiment that reads grown with love. And to match the note card, I chose a craft color envelope and I adhered a purple cardstock strip to the flap of this envelope to tie everything together. So to make this first note card, I used two subscription clubs, which are this one and this one. So this first one is the Spellbinders Stitch Die of the Month for April 2026, and it is named Rooting for You. So with this set we get lots of metal plates that we can use to cut out three types of vegetables, along with this long sign that we can combine with each one of these plates that has different sentiments. And over here we have this long plate. It is a border plate that we can use to cut out a piece from brown or dark cardstock to resemble the dirt where the vegetables are growing in. And because this is a stitching die set, some of the plates has this insert with the tiny dots that the metal plates create that we can use to do the stitching. So with this set we are able to do the stitching onto each one of these vegetables. So for example, for the carrot we have the outline piece with the insert that we can use together to cut out the holes that we can use to do some stitching if we choose to. And with the green onions we have the same set of plates, the plate that cuts the solid piece, and then we can add this one inside to cut out the holes that will allow us to do the stitching. And here is the plate that we can use to cut out a bit, and here is the insert if you choose to do the stitching. Because I didn't feel like stitching this time, I skipped all of these plates with the small holes, and I only used these plates over here to cut out my vegetables. So regarding the sentiment, I used Spellbinders Clear Stamp and Die of the Month for April 2026, which is named Fresh Packed. So with the clear stamp and die of the month, we get a stamp set with lots of wonderful messages that work really well with this month's subscription theme, along with a few images down here that we can stamp to create fun scenes for our note cards. Regarding the coordinating die set, here we have lots of metal plates that we can use to cut out the stamped sentiments if we want to, along with this large die plate that we can use to cut out a really fun mesh tote, which is what I used to create the note card that I will show you next. So here is a closer look at the first note card that I created with the Spellbinders April 2026 subscription clubs. To add some sparkle to this sign that reads Rooting for You, I went over it with my shimmer pen. As usual, I love using this pen to add sparkle to my projects. And just for fun, I added a few die cut hearts around the sentiment that reads "Grown with Love." To add some shading to this piece of brown cardstock, I went over the bottom half of this brown piece with a darker shade of ink pad. And regarding the sunny background, to create it, I used a stencil set that was released as a subscription club for March 2026, which is this one. This is a layering stencil, and I only used a couple of these layers to create the sunny background for this note card. And here on the flap of this envelope, we have another example of the sentiment options that we get with the stamp of the month. This one reads "Handpicked for you." So that's it for the first note card. Now I am going to move this aside, actually just a stamp set, and show you the next one. So here we have another craft color envelope. Onto the flap of the envelope, I added an orange cardstock strip to match the note card that goes inside. And just like the previous one, I also stamped a sentiment onto the flap of this envelope using black pigment ink. And here is the fun mesh bag that we can create using this large die plate included in the Spellbinders stamp and die set subscription club. So here is a closer look at the note card. Inside the mesh bag, I've added some die cut vegetables that I created using different subscription clubs, along with some tulips, and at the bottom I added the sentiment that reads "A fresh hello," along with a few very small flowers that I cut out using older sets by Spellbinders. Notice here that the panel for this note card has a lot of texture, and that is because I used the Spellbinders 3D embossing folder of the month for April 2026. This note card is also, oh my goodness, I have some ink stains that I need to fix later. So inside this note card, it is blank, and this note card is pretty heavy and sturdy, not only because I like to use heavyweight cardstock, but I also like to add another panel slightly smaller inside onto each side of the note card to make it even heavier, which is what I prefer, so the note card can stand nicely on display. By the way, to cut out this bell pepper inside my mesh tote, I used another die set released as a subscription club that I will show you in a minute. So let's move this aside so I can show you the third note card, which is this one. This might be one of my favorites. To make this next note card, I used metal plates included in the Spellbinders large die of the month, and this one is named Market Tote. So with this die set, we have lots of metal plates that we can use to cut out pieces to make a large tote that covers the front of an A2 size note card. So these are the pieces that we can use to cut out a tote, and then all of the other plates we can use to cut out elements to place inside the tote, such as a bottle of milk. Then we have these plates over here to cut out a loaf of bread, then some cheese down here. We can also cut out some beets and some tulips over here, which is what I used to cut out these tulips for the previous note card that I just showed you. We can also cut out some broccoli with these plates and some bell peppers using these two plates down here. Before I show you the note card, I also want to show you the embossing folders for April 2026 because I used one of these folders to add texture to this next note card that I'm about to show you. So with the Spellbinders clubs, we have two options regarding embossing folders. We have the option to subscribe to a 3D embossing folder or a 2D embossing folder. They are both the same size, however they have different designs and one adds more texture than the other. However, they are both great and it really is just a matter of preference. So this is the Spellbinders 3D embossing folder and it is named Market Crate. I actually want to add a piece inside so you can better see the patterns. So this is the Spellbinders 3D embossing folder, and this again is the folder that I used to add texture to the background of this note card that I just showed you. And then on my right, we have the 2D embossing folder, which is what I used to add texture to the note card that I am about to show you. And this one is named Market With. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this next note card. So again, I chose a craft color envelope, and to decorate the envelope so it matches the note card that goes inside, I added a cardstock strip to the flap of the envelope, and I also used my leftover pieces of die cut tulips to decorate the envelope and really tie everything together. So inside this envelope we have this super cute note card. So this is top folding A2 size, and at the front we have a tote filled with fresh goodies from the market. So notice here that the background has texture thanks to the embossing folder of the month. Inside this tote we have lots of die cut pieces. We have cheese, broccoli, red bell pepper, beets, bread, milk, and some tulips. And of course we have a very nice pink tote that pops up actually, and at the front I added a hand stamped and die cut sentiment that reads fresh packed birthday cheer. So to stamp this sentiment I used the clear stamp of the month. By the way, this die cut tote has a little bit of dimension, and that is thanks to a mechanism that we can die cut using this die plate included in this large die set. So to make this large tote that pops up, we need to cut out 3 of these pieces that we need to fold following all of these stitching lines that the plate adds to the cardstock. And we need to add one of these pop-up mechanism to the right, another one to the left side, and then one right in the middle. And then to make the base for this bag, we actually need to use this border plate, and you can make it as tall as you want. Just remember that you need to cut out 2 pieces, one for the back that needs to be a little bit taller than the piece at the front. Just for fun, to cut out the handle for this bag, I used a piece of pattern paper included in this 6x6 paper pad by Spellbinders. So this is a note card that I created featuring the Spellbinders April 2026 large die of the month. Next, here we have the Spellbinders April 2026 stencil of the month, which is named Market Berries. So with this set we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stencils that we can layer to create a really fun background, because they have these corner guides on all corners of each stencil that makes it really easy for you to line up the stencil with your cardstock. And they also have numbers indicating the order we should follow. So this is layer number 1, then we have layer number 2 with the corner guides as well, then we have layer number 3, and so on. And because this is a layering stencil set, we can easily create a very colorful background panel, which is what I did for this note card. So here again, to make the envelope match the note card, I added a piece of cardstock strip, same as the one that I used at the front of my note card. So this note card is also A2 size. This time it is side folding, and at the front, right in the center, is the panel that I created using the stencil of the month. Then right in the center, I added a hand-stamped and die-cut sentiment that reads Fresh Packed Birthday Cheer. To cut out this fun-shaped arched panel, I used a die set by Spellbinders. However, this one was not released as a subscription club. So this die set comes with many arched die plates in various sizes that we can use to create very fun note cards. So what I did for this note card is I used the second smallest plate to cut out my stenciled panel. Then to cut out this pink border, I taped together the second and the third smallest plates before I ran it through my die cutting machine. And then to cut out the glitter piece, I taped the 2 biggest plates together before I ran it through my die cutting machine. So notice here that each one of these pieces that I cut out using this die set, they fit like a puzzle piece. So this is perfect for making one layer note cards if that's something that you're into. And to be honest, I did not think that I would be using this set as much as I am now. This is such an easy die set that we can use to quickly create fun and unique note cards. You can actually use the biggest plate included in the set to cut out fun-shaped note cards, which is actually what I did on my last video. So let's now set these aside and move on to the next. Before I show you this note card, I actually want to give you a closer look at the sets that I used to make this one. So here on my right, we have the Spellbinders Small Die of the Month, and this one is named Pansy Seed Company. So with this set, we have lots of metal plates that we can use to create a flower vase, and we have many different options, size options to make pansy flowers. And over here, we have this border plate that we can use to create a note card in the shape of a flower seeds pack, which is actually what I did. However, instead of using this border plate, I used this set over here. So this set is the Spellbinders Press and Foil Subscription Club for April 2026. So with this set, we have two types of plates. These silver plates that we can use to do the hot foiling or the letterpress technique. And up here with these plates, these are actually die plates. We can only use it to die cut. So these plates coordinate with the sentiments that we can either letterpress or hot foil using these silver plates down here. So with the press and foil of the month, we have lots of sentiment options. I actually have the packaging. So with this set, we can hot foil this beautiful image that resembles a seed pack. And over here we have all of the sentiment options such as happy birthday, jam-packed thanks, grateful for you, sealed with smiles, a little something for you, and so many more. So these are the two sets that I used to make this very bright and colorful note card. So for this one, I chose a yellow envelope to match the card that goes inside, and to make the envelope match the note card, I also used a large die cut flower. So here is a closer look at the front of my note card. I began by hot foiling a lilac panel using the set that I just showed you, and I used black foil, which is the color of foil that came with this month's Press and Foil Subscription Club, which is this one. So I did hot foil this beautiful pattern at the front of my panel, as well as the sentiment that reads, "You're the reason good grows." To cut out the flower vase, notice here that it has a little bit of shine, and that is because I used Spellbinders Mirror Silver Cardstock. For the flowers, I chose yellow and purple because this is actually the type of pansy flowers that I have at my home now. And I did go over sections of these flowers with my shimmer pen for some sparkle. And that's it for this note card. Let's now move on to the last set of note cards that I have to show you, which are right over here. Because all of these note cards are very similar, I'm gonna show you them all at once. And to make all of these note cards, I used this large set that was released as a bonus item, part of the Spellbinders All Clubs Crate subscription club. So when you subscribe to the All Clubs Crate, you not only get all of the different subscription, but also a few bonus items, such as this one. So this bonus die set is named Market Jar Trio. With this set, we have lots of metal plates that we can use to cut out a jar. Then we have this plate over here to cut out the liquid that goes inside the jar. Then up here we have the pieces to create a lid for this jar, a label with this plate over here. For the label, we have this insert that cuts the sentiment hello. We also have a sentiment banner up here, and then a few options to add inside the jar, such as pickles, strawberries, and olives. So this is the set that I used to make all of these note cards. So over here we have one jar that reads hello. Then I have another one that reads happy birthday wishes. This third one has the sentiment in Portuguese that means happy birthday. And we also have another strawberry one with the sentiment in English that reads "Hello, sweet friend." So these are all fun-shaped note cards, and they can actually stand on display, which is so much fun. So to cut out all of these fun-shaped note cards, I used the largest plate included in this set, and I placed it over a piece of side folding A2 size note card, making sure to offset the metal plate on the folded side of the cardstock, so I could end up with these two connected pieces that I am now using as a card base. So here is a closer look at the first one that reads Feliz Aniversario, and inside I added 6 die-cut strawberries. For the lid, I used pattern paper and I layer it on top of a silver die-cut piece. Inside it is blank, and I'm gonna keep it blank because there is not much room to write a personal message. Then for this one, we have the sentiment "Hello, sweet friend" that I stamped using an older set that I happen to have. So when using this set, remember that you can combine it with other stamp sets that fit inside this label, which is great for extending the life of your older stamp sets. And this way we can create note cards for many different occasions. Over here, we have another jar. I used pattern paper to cut out the lid, and then again an older stamp set to create a happy birthday note card. And this one has lots of stuffed olives. And last but not least, here is the jar with the sentiment that I created using the die plate included in this set that I showed you. So here we have the sentiment "Hello," pickles inside, and a silver lid with pattern paper just for fun. So this is all that I have for today, and I hope you enjoyed watching and felt inspired to create. As always, thank you so much for spending this time with me. I hope you have a wonderful day, take care, and happy crafting.